Hey guys, welcome to the first live. I thought I would jump in today and basically just show you over the next few days some perfect ways to do things. And today I thought I would just kick it off with salmon, as really seeing a lot of overcooked or just destroyed salmon. And you can tell because when you're cooking salmon, when you see those white spots, that's when you're overcooking. So I really wanted to show you a really simple way to do it and just put it together in less time, because at the end of the day it's going to be much quicker if you do it this way than just annihilating it, throwing it in the oven and overcooking it. So here what I've got is I've got two pieces of salmon. This is skin on. I always take the skin off. So how we do that is just nick underneath, and once the knife is there you can just hold the skin in place and then just run the knife through, and that will remove the skin, so you can see that it's completely clean. So we just jump on to both of those. I've got just the two pieces. These pieces are quite long. They've got the full belly on. When I prep it myself I prefer to take the belly off, and then I use those belly pieces for making things like fish cakes or things that are blended, because the belly has a higher fat content. So when you're cooking like a fish cake or whatever, you want to have that fat content so it doesn't dry out as much as if you're using the centerpiece. So for this it doesn't matter. I'm going to cook them plain. So I've preheated the oven. Just clean my hands. I've preheated the oven, which is running at 180. And this is a non-stick pan with a handle that can go in the oven. So this is the way I always cook my salmon. So it does involve the pan going in the oven. So the only thing that really makes any difference is when you get to, if you don't have a pan that can go in the oven, obviously don't put a plastic handled one in. But what you can do is you can transfer it to a tray, and then you just need to give it an extra minute, because when you're cooking in here, you're going to have that heat in the pan that's going to continue cooking, plus the heat of the oven. But if you transfer to a pan, unless that pan has been in the oven beforehand, it's going to be cold. So it's only going to be cooking from one side. So it's going to take a little bit longer. So probably an extra minute, a minute and 15 to 30. And then you can just leave it sit there, rest before you plate up, and it's just going to be spot on. So for these ones, I'm just going to season these with sea salt. So normally it would be better if you had a fine salt, and we can just do these on all the sides, and then always season on a plate, because then you can just move them around and pick up any of those extra pieces of salt. And then once the pan is hot, we can literally go straight into the pan. And what I like to do is, this side is where the skin was, so I go in, the rule is skin side down, but it's really presentation side down. So I'm going to go in with my presentation side down, which is the inside. And we're just going to leave those sit and get some colour. Once they've got the colour, we really don't want to be moving it around, especially if your pan isn't non-stick. So you just want to be able to create that colour on the fish. So you can see it's starting to colour, but we want to get a good amount, so it's almost going to be crispy up there, like on the top. And then once we've got the colour that we want, we can go into the oven. And leave that another, probably about 15 to 20 seconds. It's getting a nice golden colour. And I haven't seasoned it with black pepper, because when you put it in the pan like this, that pepper is gonna burn. So that's the reason why there's no pepper on it. If you want pepper on it, you can always add it afterwards. So we're getting a decent bit of colour on there. And once we've got that nice golden colour, you can literally go straight into the oven. And these pieces are relatively small, so I'm going to go with 5 minutes. So we're on 8 minutes now, so they will come out at 13 past. And while they are in the oven, I've got some carrots here that they've been blanched for about 8 minutes. So how I wanted to finish them off is I've just got these carrots that I'm going to do in honey and orange juice, and then I've got a soup as well. So it's a pretty light or a well-balanced meal, but without any like starch. So the butter can go in. As soon as the butter's in and starting to melt, the carrots can go in. They can be set aside. These can be, you just kind of want them to all be on the bottom of the pan. You can season these. And then once we've got some heat into those, we go over with the orange juice, literally just squeezing orange into it. If you wanted to, you could just leave it as the orange, but because you're going to have sugar content in there. But I'm just going to put a little bit of honey also, just to give it a nice glaze. And then normally I finish it with sesame seeds, but I've just thrown them into this seed mix, which is like flax seeds that I use for other stuff. So it's like just to add a bit of crunch into salads and different things like that. So we might throw it on there at the end, but normally just sesame seeds works really well when you're finishing this one. So you can get rid of the fish board, and then I've got an orange here that I can just use half of. So those have been seasoned with salt, but I still need to crack over some pepper. How are we doing on time? We're on 10.5. So the orange can go in. So just a touch of honey, just to add it to where the liquid is, so it's not going to hit a hot spot in the pan, because otherwise what will happen is it's just going to boil up and burn. You just want to use that orange juice to keep the temperature down, and then you can just toss those. So the soup that I made was a spiced cauliflower, which is this one. So what it was onions and garlic sweated off. I had some a tandoori paste left over, so a tablespoon of that went in, vegetable stock to cover the cauliflower, and then 1 can of coconut cream, literally just cooked it off until it was all soft, and then blended it. So that is that. I reckon we would get some crunch and just add a few of those, just to give it some crunch and a different texture. And then I've also got a little bit of of coriander. So I've got about 30 seconds left on the fish, so I can just pick that. And we can just finish these carrots with the coriander. With the coriander, don't worry too much about the stems. The stems have got loads of flavour. You just need to make sure that it's well washed. So especially if you buy, you know, one with the root on, and then you can just run the knife through that. And then that can finish off. And then straight off, that's 5 minutes on the salmon. We take them out and have a look at these. See, they've just cooked on the one side. So now, we just knock them over. You see that white? That's where it's starting to push the proteins out. So that's what we don't really want to see. These pieces were really small, so even 5 minutes was enough. And then just gonna leave them sit on their side. And so you can see better, there you go. These can be tossed. Oven can go off. Old habit, can't stand cold plates, so that is it. So I've got my my soup to serve. These small bowls. So that is that. Plates can come up. And then as soon as, make sure the fish slice is completely under the fish. You see how long those pieces are? That's why I always take the belly off. Just have a nicer piece. Right. And then I've got my soup. And this is just a really good setup for lunch. So we can eat lighter tonight. And normally it's just what I like to do is I will cook dinner and then I'll have lunch for the next day already set. So we're already good to go as soon as the day started. So, and then you can log these off. And that is pretty much it. Really, really simple, easy lunch. The carrots got cooked for about 8 minutes before they went into the glaze. Or before they went into the pan. And I was going to squeeze that over, but there's not really any need. And that is basically it. So it makes for a really, really simple dinner. Got the spiced cauliflower soup. It doesn't have to be tandoori paste, you know, you could throw anything in it, even if it was just turmeric, just so you've got some health benefits there. And then you've got the salmon and the carrots. Really, really simple, but taste pretty good. So that's it. That's 5 minute salmon. If you haven't got a non-stick pan, then stick it on a tray and just give it that extra minute 15, minute 30, depending on the size of your fish. And if not, you've always got that heat. It's going to cook anyway because you're going to have that heat in the fish, and that's just going to keep it ticking on. So that's it. Give it a go next time you're cooking some salmon or any fish. White fish as well works just as well. Obviously the timings are going to be different depending on its thickness, but for salmon, pretty much between 5 and 6 minutes, and you're going to be set, and it's going to be much nicer. I should probably show you actually just what it's like on the inside, so you see. Look at that, bang on. So yeah, nice bit of salmon. Give it a go, and I will see you tomorrow in another live for probably chicken or steak, one of the two. So I'll catch you then. See you guys. Thanks for joining me. Take it easy.